really important, which they are, then you'll find your emotions being sometimes constricted by the reason, and you get frustrated when that kind of thing happens. But literally, it's like you can't express a lot of what you mean except through language. So language is kind of what I would say, as far as I feel at the moment, is that language is kind of analogous with the swords. But the meaning is like maybe the blood, and it kind of flows along the blade. It's a rather grim analogy maybe, but the trellis and the garden would be maybe a different way of viewing it. It's like you need that framework. You need that framework to communicate. You need that framework to let people know how you feel. So it's a box, but it's your home. So yeah, basically.
I was thinking, it's probably totally unrelated, but I don't know if you know of it. You know that film, The Cube?
Mm-hmm.
And they just going all round and round and round all over, and they never get out.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Not a nice home. I wouldn't live there for very long. Okay, so under this metaphor as the sword as a key, we focus on the fundamental nature of concepts. The very act of identifying a concept simultaneously creates and unlocks the object of the concept whilst ignoring and locking the rest away. Explain what I mean there is this these optical illusions where it's something that looks like a duck and a rabbit or something like that. You look at it, or it's like an old woman's face, and then it's a young woman's face, that kind of thing. Yeah. So all these Gestalt switches happening. The picture itself has not changed, unless someone is facing you quickly done a little switcheroo. What has changed is your perception of it. And this is what I mean about the sword as a key. You're unlocking one, and then you see the other. You don't see both at the same time. And even if you did, you would not be seeing the young woman, and you would not be seeing the old woman. You'd be seeing the young woman and the old woman at the same time, which is a different thing entirely. So each of these things, each of these small facets, these perceptions is unique and special and necessarily closed, otherwise it's something else. So this is what I mean about the key revealing and concealing. Okay? So it's like you can't see everything at the same time without it being different from you seeing bits and pieces, and yeah, anyway. So each time we unlock the box, we fall inside another reality. It becomes this never-ending sequence of searching. But for what? I don't know. What answers do you search for? Meaning do you search for in your lives? It could be anything. But the constant in this questionable purgatory is the key, which is just as much part of our nature. It's this compulsion that we sometimes feel to ask questions. You ask a question, you find another question, another. So where do you get the answers for? Where do you stop asking these questions? Well, the sword and the sword as key is not the only part of our nature. This is wise to remember that if we're seeking ourselves, we should also pay heed to the other suits. That's just no more than saying that you get this reputation for people who become addicted to the swords, and they unlock, they go into a different box. Oh, I don't like this one, go into another one, unlock. They're going from door to door to door and on, and they just start they're almost running through these endless sequence of runs or whatever. So well, what are they looking for? They're not actually stopping thinking about what they're running away from or running towards, but what they are in that moment. So I think that is outside the scope of the swords. That is where you look into the other suits maybe for meaning. But the box as a self-imposed conceptual framework is necessarily unavoidable, channeling and enabling the flows of meaning. This is just what we were discussing earlier about the box. Is it a box? Is it a home? It can seem a prison when the balance with emotions, reality, or impulse becomes distorted. If we do not heed the lessons of the sword as a key, then we choose to lock ourselves within a frustrated, prejudiced, neurotic prison within our own mind. All right. Wow. Any questions?
Loads, but
How are we doing for time?
I'll leave other people to talk
That's about right.
That's good. Comments, insights, impressions, random synesthetic imagery? Anything?
Okay, yeah, I offer one on the Gestalt, the old woman versus the young lady.
Yeah.
Apparently research has shown that if people are having a bad day, they're more likely to see the old woman, the old hag. And if people are having a good day, they're more likely to see the young woman. So maybe it's the same with this, is that how you perceive it is your state of mind at the time.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I think that's the key to it, in a sense. Perception is the key to many, many things. Perception is the key to how your day is going to be going. If you're perceiving it to be a bad day, then chances are that it is going to be a bad day, because all you're going to see is this dark nine of swords, or, you know, it's the victim mentality sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think perception plays a huge part.
That ties again into the words.
It's confronting your ego and stripping down and cutting away to what is real. Is it what you believe, what your beliefs are, and you're going to fight other people with what they believe in? I mean, even fight yourself. Am I thinking, is this right or is this wrong? I mean, you have this conflict going on, either with other people or with yourself. And it's like you go through this journey to either you're going to beat down other people and stab them in the back, or you need to kill your own self, kill your own ego, and strip yourself down to what is your truth.
Mm.
So that's how I see
And
it.
if we suspend thinking completely, what's left?
It's
Raw emotion.
Emotion and sensation, yeah. The raw sensation. This is not looking at the room and seeing the table. This is looking and they're just being things. Maybe you can't even conceptualize things at that point. So this is the raw stuff, the raw stuff.
You're going, if you stop thinking, you're going from left brain to right brain. That's my perception. You're leaving the logic behind, and you're going into emotional territory.
But you need your brain to make sense of emotions.
Not necessarily, I don't think that.
I think you...
To conceptualize,
Somehow
you do.
perception,
This is what, to
To actually
conceptualize
feel
it.
it, you don't.
Sorry?
As Ben was saying, to conceptualize it you do, but to just feel it, no, you
Just
don't.
feel
Yeah,
it,
but
no.
you also interpret it. I mean,
Yeah, to interpret,
if you
but
get
you don't have to
scared,
interpret it.
And you run away, I think there's also some brain reaction in between.
That's again right brain.
Yeah, but I think right or left brain both is intellect.
Yeah, but the minute you try and capture emotion with words, concepts, you immediately start to falsify it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
dilute it, at least, or mix it.
You're cutting it.
Yeah.
You're making you're like cutting out a piece of paper into a shape and going, here's a shape, and you go, yeah, you just cut it in that shape.
And you put it into boxes to make it visible to others, to talk about it. Yeah?
I would say cut
I
in the
understand.
sense of geometric.
I like that. Any other questions on that?
Well, it wasn't questions, it was comments, I suppose. Well, I quite like the Suit of Swords, and I see it as either your mind can rule you, or you can rule your mind. And obviously there's got to be some leeway in between. But I quite like the Six of Swords, because some people might say, well, you're being taken by
No, I like
ends.
it as well.
But I think, well, to me, if that's happening, then you actually get in the front of the boat and get in the driving seat. And Eight of Swords, yes, it could be a self-imposed prison, but Rachel Pollack looks at it as an opportunity to break or dissolve old patterns. So when you see something here you don't like, there's the flip side always, and that's where the choice comes in. So I don't think it's, like a lot of people fear the suit, I don't. I just think it gives you clarity.
I'd like to ask that, because you mentioned the 8 and talk about breaking patterns, whereas for me the 9 has always been very much this idea of echoes.
It's all part of the cycle though, and it's the, getting you to melt down at that point, and then breaking down here.
Okay.
But then after you've broken down, you dust yourself off and walk away, which is the person walking into the distance like here.
Yeah.
It's all process. It's all empowering. It's up to you how you deal with it.
I think in a sense as well, the Suit of Swords, that's probably walking away from one of these speeches, but it's very much reflective of where we are now as in the world. You know, whatever is happening all around us, not just politically, but everything that's happening is very much sword-like, I feel. But it's all up to you. I think that the point that you made about choices is very important, because every action, every choice has a consequence. So when people give up onto the 9 or the 10, because they're going, oh my God, why is this happening to me? They don't actually look at, okay, some things obviously happen random, but in the bigger scheme of things, what did you do to create the domino effect that actually got to that point. Because every action, every choice you make has a consequence. So maybe you've just decided to go a different way to work that day, and then the trains are screwed. And yeah, okay, it's not your fault, but that's a choice again with a consequence. So yeah.
Starts
And then
at
the
the
teaching
dual
sheets on your
swords.
And then the
You've
physical.
got your two swords up there.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
interesting,
Yeah, you're just standing on it. Actually, that makes a very nice picture.
It's also being consumed with your own self. It's like you're surrounding yourself with your thoughts. You know,
Yeah.
it's just about me.
Yeah.
The Nine of Swords.
And it's like, no, it's not. You gotta get out of that.
Yeah, you gotta get out of that ego-based.
Yeah.
It's about me and what if and what if, the what if mentality, the worrying, overthinking.
Yeah, but also worrying about other persons in the Nine of Swords. I think that sometimes nightmares. Oh my God, what could happen? With my
Thoughts-
mom,
thoughts,
this self.
Thought forms. You know, thoughts can take form in that sense. So, yeah.
I also believe the swords are pretty much like the surgery. The doctor tells you, okay, you need to go for the surgery, otherwise you will die, or your health will get much worse. You know you have to do it. You have to go for a surgery. The surgery is a good thing, but you're still scared as hell to go there because cutting is scary, whether you're cutting mentally or physically.
So the suit of cups is pretty scary then.
You say you think?
I think
Yeah.
it can be.
Oh yeah. Where's all the pain coming from? The suit of swords, there's no pain in it.
I think
There's mental pain,
I think the major arcana
mental
is
worry, mental agony.
Mental anguish.
Yeah.
The caps is pain, emotional pain.
But
No, but the pain is the reaction you get, not the thing itself.
Mm.
That makes sense. It's like you can switch pain off in your brain and still have surgery and you don't feel anything. You know,
Yeah, but then you have to go through the. It's a process.
it's
I guess,
it's the
yeah.
cups that where you receive the pain, but you can switch that off. Still have the surgery and not feel it. You know,
But if
it's
you're a
that.
sword person, you can switch it off. If you're a cap person, you can't.
The cups are very good PR. You see their pictures, like, whoa, I want some more of those cups.
I agree.
But I think the sword suit is very lonely. I mean, actually only on the 6, and there are few cards where you have more than one person.
Hmm.
It's
Well, I think
quite
one way,
isolated.
yeah.
I mean, of course,
There's a
you're
sense in
not
which
alone.
everyone lives and dies alone,
Yeah.
because you are stuck in your box.
But you choose to be there.
You choose, yeah.
You can create these little thought form puppets and call them mum, dad, sisters, and so on.
That's a
But you're
great
still in a
idea.
box.
That's a great idea.
Still in a box.
That's the best box to put in
I actually believe that the most scary one is actually the major arcana, or actually lack of understanding of it. Because if you have a lack of understanding of the actual principle or how this thing works, then everything becomes so scary. The cutting, the cups, the wands, everything is scary then. If you understand it, kind of you can put a label and understand it, it's not scary.
Before we dissolve into general discussions, because I think lots of people are trying to get these nice associations and insights coming in. Just commenting on that, it makes me think of like a bunch of keys. So with the tarot deck is like a huge bunch of keys, and each key has a lock. If you do not use a key, or a key is blunted or lost, then there's a lock out there you will not be able to do anything with. Hopefully you will never need it.
I find, not me personally, but I know some people who find that when they understand something more, that it's even more scary. Like my my sister-in-law just had a kid, and like, you know, for most women, the more you know about pregnancy, the more they're scared of it and they don't want to go through it. You know, so it depends on what it is. Yeah, go for it.
So just to conclude, and then add a little bit on. Perspective is bound up in the suit of swords, and how we perceive conceptual change is itself very much a matter of perception. So the different journeys as metaphors help to elucidate the natures of the cards, as turning a sword in the light helps to inspect it for details. It looks initially quite grim, but you can kind of see how all these images, they are very much a matter of perception, and I think if you know what they're trying to say and you get to the meaning of them, you kind of understand that is really up to you, which way around you hold it. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be anything other than what it means. You can view it as one way or the other, and there's positives there and there's negatives, and always is. The dangers inherent within the suit of swords would seem prudently echoed by the choice of symbol, and we can see how suffering and the potential for joy is a necessary part of